welcome back to my channel. I haven't filmed a video in like a week and a half because I was on vacation. So the video that went up on Sunday was filmed before I went on vacation. So I'm trying something new. I've talked before about how I'm a little bit scared, for lack of better words, to be on camera. But I was just playing around today with some makeup and playing around with my makeup table, which if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the evolution of the makeup table. I was just playing around with this and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool angle and shot. This would be kind of cool to film videos like with this kind of setup and everything. So I'm giving it a shot. I thought that this would be a fitting video to kind of start with my going back to school series. It's not really like series, there's just a lot of back to school content that's happening in the month of September because I start classes on September 21st. I go to Drexel University and we're on a quarter system, so our terms are 10 weeks long instead of 15. So we start about a month later for the fall than other schools. So that's basically why I'm not in school right now. But all of my back to school content is coming up in the month of September. So I thought that talking about taking classes online as somebody with ADD, how all of that's been going, how I've been coping, how things have kind of evolved as I've gone through that kind of journey, I guess I would say, and some of the things that I'm doing to make sure that my fall semester is awesome. Just to make sure that everything goes well, because my plan for the fall semester is to be 100% online. I have been registered for my classes by my advisor and they're 100% online classes. I'm taking 6 classes. 2 of them are 1 credit, like intro classes. One of them is called the Drexel Experience and the other is about the co-op program. So I'm basically just building my resume and learning those kinds of skills and stuff in those classes. So I'm really taking like 4.5 classes-ish. But all of my classes are online. 5 of them are synchronous, meaning I have Zoom calls for them or some kind of like in-time thing during like an actual class time. And then one of them, my business communication class, is like not synchronous. Asynchronous is what it's called. So there's that going on as well. So I do have some videos going up on like asynchronous versus synchronous and the quarter system at Drexel and all of that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for more details on that, but basically this is how I handle taking online classes with ADD. So my first step or tip, I guess, is to have like, I call it an ideal week, but some people call it like a weekly, like an hourly, what am I doing every single day of the week kind of schedule somewhere. So I have one in my bullet journal. I have one in Notion, which is an app that you can get for your phone, your computer, and it also works on the web. I have the same one in those 2 places, and then I also use a passion planner, which is a type of hourly, weekly planner that has like boxes for every, I think, half hour it is. So at the beginning of the week or on Sunday mornings, I'll go through and put in, okay, here's my class schedule, and then fill in everything in between that. So having an idea of what my week is going to look like ahead of it really helps a lot with not losing track or like forgetting when a class is or forgetting when something is due. It's just nice and easy to have a record of everything in multiple places. Works for me, but you definitely don't need to have more than one space to do that. I used to use my Google Calendar for that. I have like 8 bajillion email accounts, so I'd actually split it up depending on where the work was. So like school stuff would go with my school email, and then like personal stuff would go on my personal email, and then nerdy artist stuff would go with my nerdy artist email, that kind of way. But I kind of broke my Google Calendar, so I decided to just bite the bullet and get a passion planner, and that has basically replaced my Google Calendar for time blocking. My second tip is to make lists. So I'm a bullet journal artist, that type of thing. Yeah. So I literally just write lists constantly, and I make sure that all of my assignments are on every single list. One thing that really helps with this is knowing your syllabi for your classes. So for my past classes, I have had professors who literally have every single assignment on the syllabus, so you can go through and say, okay, all of this stuff and all of these due dates are all here, so I'm going to put them somewhere and make sure that I know exactly when everything's due. For this, I also use Notion, the same tool, and I have something called a master schedule. I'll link the Janice Studies video in the description where I found her master schedule and her like semester planner for college. I basically have adapted that template to work for me for my classes and everything, and I literally put in every single assignment for the semester in there, and then you just check the box when you get something done, and that's how it works. So for this semester, I'm using it a little bit differently. All of my classes before this have been asynchronous, so none of them have had like Zoom calls or anything like that. But for this, I've actually put in all of the lectures already because I know like when our breaks are and I know my class schedule. So I have a page for every single lecture. So I'll write my notes in that space, but then I can also put in all of my assignments and everything as professors start to open up Blackboard, which is basically the same thing as Canvas. I'll start to put in my articles, my assignments and everything in there that I need to have for this semester. But for right now, I just have my lectures in there, so I'll take notes in those pages in Notion, so just typing directly into Notion. And then I'll use GoodNotes, which is an iPad app, and I will take handwritten notes on my notes, basically, if that makes sense. Just to condense them and double check that I have all of the information that I need to have. I'm sure that like I'll have videos and stuff to watch where I'll have to take notes on those too. So all of those will go into Notion. All of those will go into GoodNotes. It's really just lectures that go into Notion directly, just because during lectures I feel like I miss so much when I handwrite. So I'm just gonna type my notes and then rewrite them for that. My next tip would be to have different study spaces if that's possible. I live in an apartment by myself in the city, even with COVID and having classes online and everything. I still live in the city. So when I was looking for an apartment, I really wanted a one-bedroom apartment so that my desk could be like in a completely separate place than my bedroom and everything like that. And that didn't happen. I ended up in a junior one-bedroom apartment, which is basically a studio apartment with like a whole separate kitchen and then like an open nook that is my office on one side, and then the other side of that big open space is my bathroom and my closet, which is very, very large, thankfully. My office is pretty much as far away from my bed as it can possibly be. The only thing that's a little bit of a distraction is having the ability to watch TV from my desk. But most of the time I try to put on music while I'm working, and obviously in Zoom calls I'll not have the TV on. But having separate spaces is definitely key. So if you think about my apartment and kind of imagine it, I'll try to throw up a floor plan here maybe and kind of like put what every little thing is. But basically I have my office where I stream, I do homework, I will have my lectures, I do nerdy artist stuff, like I write my blog posts every week here, I edit my videos on this computer, all of that stuff, all of that happens in this space. My printer's over here, my cutting machine is over there. What else? Like all of that stuff is in that space, and that's what that space is for. I also do all of my planning there, so my bullet journal lives there, my passion planner lives over there. What else? I think that's about it for that area. And then I have a computer, or a table that's behind me that has my record player and my laptop on it. So honestly, that space is really just there in case somebody else is here and needs to work on something or needs a computer. So two people could very, very comfortably work in here at the same time. But I usually, I don't know, like watch YouTube videos or something stupid there. Make music there. I have like a little MIDI keyboard that plugs in to my laptop, so I'll have that there. That kind of stuff. So that's more of like a fun space, if that makes any sense. And then my living room is my living room. It's very living room-y. I have my Xbox and I have a smart TV, so I'll sit on the couch and like watch TV or movies, play video games, all of that kind of stuff. And in my living room, I also have a cozy corner where I really like to read. And I have like some shelves set up with books on them, and my Switch is over there, so I'll play Animal Crossing over there most of the time. And then my bed is like its own separate area, and I can like barely see the TV from my bed, which helps a lot with falling asleep. And I try to keep screens away from there, so my phone is over there, obviously. And my Apple Watch, I wear it to sleep. That's where that charges and everything, and then it's literally just like my Wi-Fi router thing. But other than that, there's nothing else over there to really distract me when I'm going to sleep. So that's how I have like different spaces kind of set up for different tasks and everything, and that really helps my mind get into the zone for all of that. And the last thing that I will say as a tip is to have a solid routine that you stick to. So I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago when this video is going up that I will also link in the description. It is all about my routines. It doesn't show up great on mobile, by the way, but that's besides the point. But it's all about my morning and evening routines, and they're all about productivity and using my time in the morning, because I really value the time before I actually have to start working. So my morning routine is from 6:30 to 9:30, I want to say. And then my evening routine is from 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Yes, I only get 7 hours of sleep. I know, I'm the worst. Whatever. Honestly, it works for me. I'm a big napper as well, so at least until school starts, I usually take a nap at some point in the day. But I have a solid routine that I stick to, and like this is what I do to wake up. I wake up, I work out, I get in the shower, I eat breakfast, I get started with my journal, I do some Bible study, and then I get started on working. And then in the evening, it's all about self-care and winding down. I prepare for the next day. I get in the shower or take a bath. I do some skincare, I'll do some yoga sometimes, have a glass of wine sometimes, all of that kind of stuff, just to kind of de-stress and get ready for bed to make sure that I get a good night's sleep so that I can be ready for the next day. So having a routine where I go through all the steps and the motions over and over again has really helped with online classes, because it makes the rest of the day so much easier when I get to 9:30 in the morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already done all of these things, I've already ticked off all these boxes, and I feel ready to really start the day and hit the ground running. So anyways, that is about it, I think. Lots of more back to school content coming this month, as I mentioned earlier. There is how I'm using my passion planner for school, why I chose Drexel University and staying in Philadelphia, prepping for back to school, so like buying my books and all of that kind of stuff, my journey with ADD so far, like in totality, from being diagnosed and doing all the testing and everything to being prescribed meds and all of that kind of stuff. Explaining the quarter system, because it's confusing and nobody understands why I'm not in school right now. That's really fun to explain to my family. a look at my first week at Drexel University, tips for making friends when school is online, especially as a transfer student being 21, almost 22 years old. Making friends is definitely something that I want to do, so I'll have some advice for that. And I think that's about it. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this setup. I think I like this. It's a little bit more comfortable talking to the camera in a more casual way like this, where it's not just me on camera and there's some other stuff going around on screen. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye!